welcome to this exciting video where you once again join me in the wild landscape of Scotland. And today we've come to look at something cool that I've never seen before on the channel. Today we've actually come near the little Angus town of Brechin, and I'm actually heading on into this wild land, which is actually Dalhousie Estate. But this originally used to actually be two different estates here. I'm kind of out the side of Brechin here where the castle centre, garden centre and stuff is, as you drive out of Brechin towards the dual carriageway in the Forfar direction. I'm off to the piece of land which is kind of down the side of that, and I'm just hoping to head all the way down as far as the river South Esk, because there's actually abandoned remains of what was like an old mansion house, and all like apparently there's like an ice house and some other little buildings related to that ancient time here. So I'm wanting to go down and document that in today's video, folks. So yeah, it's going to be like interesting to see what we could see, because I've never been in this piece of land before, and it's mad like exploring places you've never been. And I'm just going to stay vigilant and try and uncover every little bit of history and document it here on the channel for the world to see. I think as long as I just keep heading this direction I should be okay. That large green field at the other side of this ravine here is actually the field where the Angus show is held. And I think it's a popular area for like equestrian stuff. Yeah, they do a lot of horse events, pony club stuff and that in there. Yeah, what a landscape, folks. I'm thinking I'm going to head through this gate down here and then make my way along that forest right to the bottom. So I'll update you once I find the first interesting artefact. So there was actually a few estates in this area which at one time were individual estates, like Aldbar and Dalhousie Estate and places like that, and including this one. And like Dalhousie at a certain time had taken the ground over, and then the remaining like mansion houses and stuff got demolished and destroyed. So today we're away to just document whatever's left. Whoa, I nearly tripped. I slipped on that stick, and check that out, folks, barbed wire. It's cool to explore places like this and just imagine the history from years ago, hundreds of years ago. And it's cool just to imagine the people that may have walked here back in the day, and you can often paint a picture of the history and what went on. You can put the pieces of the historical puzzle together and you get an idea of the estate, the thriving Scottish estate which may at one time have been here. Yeah, it's just crazy. There's been some forest activities going on here. Looks like there's been a big beech tree felled recently. It's crazy because this bit here almost looks like it's been a path. Look at the size of some of these old beech trees here. Probably planted back when this estate was in its prime. Now it's just an abandoned skeleton of its former glory. There is a slight breeze, but we should be okay down at this location because I think it's quite sheltered. So check this out, folks. This is actually the area where the horses come down into the cross-country section. I think that's how this bridge is and water crossings and stuff here. But I think this is the stage. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the hill and follow this track around here. Wow, I think this track must take me in the general direction. This is so interesting, folks. I keep imagining what I might find. I love the thrill of finding stuff that I've never seen before on a video. And it's cool that I can share these adventures with people all over the world. They can see little corners of Scotland that's like hard to get to or hardly seen. And we can paint a picture here of the history and tell the story of the history here from the local area of Angus. And check it out, there's a little miniature waterfall here. Wow, look, it's a proper waterfall. So that shows this may have been for controlling the flow of water at one time. It looks like this whole area has been dug out and all this sedimentary stuff's actually gathered here. So that's interesting. I wonder if this mansion house along here actually had a generator of some sort. Maybe a water powered generator. That's often the cool thing with coming in a strange route to a place. You can find the wee nuggets and details like that. because I believe that's what that's been. They put a head of water up there, almost like a little dam. Whoa, the ground's stodgy. Wow, see, for the first time, folks, I'm seeing a whole spread of daffodils here. The spring environment's starting to come to life. Yeah, look at it, this is the road here, I think, that comes down from like the Angus show field. I'm just going to head around here. Check this out, folks, the ground here is opened up into this mad, wide open landscape. And I was just thinking where the foundation of the house is. I could see what looks like a structure at the top of that hill. It's kind of levelled out. And I'm just starting to think that's maybe where it was. I was remembering that it was actually right down at a low level. But it was a proper big mansion house. So there should be some kind of remains here. Yeah, look, this is it up here, folks. Let's head on up. There's an old gentleman actually walking at the far side there. Shout out if you're watching this video. Yeah, this is cool, folks. I'm going to head up here because this is where the building foundations is, I believe. Yeah, check this out, folks. Look at this massive wall line here. And you can see how the ground's all landscaped up in steps and stairs. And you can see the original base of the mansion house here. Wow, this is so special, folks, to come here. Just imagine the mansion standing up here. It's cool how we can see the stairs and stuff. So many years have passed that you can hardly even tell they're underneath the grass. Yes, I'm so glad I found this. It's mad to explore wee nuggets of history like this and document them before they're gone forever, because you can actually see how the stones are like decaying. Look how the trees is growing right into the stone. This is so cool. I get told about so much history. I can't actually remember the name of this estate in this mansion house. But it's cool just to come and record it and see what we can see today. You can save this little bits of history. Like I say, that tree there is really thick, big fat tree. It's mad to see something like that, because it was likely have planted when this was in its prime. You can see areas here. This is for the horses coming round. It's all used for the equestrian side of things nowadays. But it's mad to see how the houses are. The house has almost been built up on the verandas, and it had been a grand view overlooking the whole garden section that we started at down at the bottom of the hill. Look at this interesting detail, look. There's a massive stone here which looks almost out of place. But it does look like the wall's been repaired there at a certain time. It's maybe been some little tunnel that used to go underneath the main house there. Yeah, look at this big nugget of a tree. What a big chunk of wood. Wow, this tree here must be ancient. Just check it out, folks, the way it's actually twisted and spiralled round. Mad. Whoa, there's a bumblebee fleeing about. It's early in the season for them. They're likely going around looking for the pollen on those daffodils. Just check the character of these stairs as well, folks. Wow, this is what I love about these adventures. I'll get a photograph of this. It's crazy here, folks. I can actually hear a woodpecker pecking away at the tree. It's quite loud, so it must be nearby. Look at this. See, some of the stairs have maybe been taken away for other projects. Not unless they've actually just sunk over time. Yeah, you can see it's been fully landscaped all the way around here. And this is the main old remains here of the house. It's obviously, like, at later times been made into a bit of like a veranda kind of sitting area. But you can see almost like the outline of what the house would have looked like from the shape of these walls. Every week as well, I just love bringing new content, new places that I've never seen before, and things like this are just incredible. It's so close to like the Angus town of Brechin, and it's close to some of the other places that I've explored, but I just never had gotten round to coming down here. I've known about it for a couple of years, But this time of year it's perfect because in a few months things get so overgrown, it's crazy. Wow, let's go up the stairs. Just imagine walking up to the door of the house right here. And it could have been quite a big house judging from it. It's not just been the size of this small bit. It looks like it's gone right along each side. Sometimes it was actually the military that used to come and destroy places like this, because they were so well built and so well constructed. That's what happened to Bar Castle, which was actually an estate just round the corner from here. Yeah, all this has been fitted, I think, for the horse events, the horse trials. I'll take a little look over here. There's actually some stones and stuff over in the bushes here. There's some remains of the history. Maybe we'll get an idea of how this place looked, because I think these stones almost look like they're in their original position. And it shows the wall has actually had battlements on it. Not unless these have been laid like this for decoration. Look at that, folks, you can see the stones there leading round. Oh, like that's strange how that's built. I'm going to head on in here and have a wee look. Yeah, it's almost like there's been some sort of stairs, or the way these bushes is planted, it's like an avenue. Wow, folks, check this out. You're not going to believe what I've just found here. This is mad. Just look at the grandeur of this rock carving. This gives you an idea of these Scottish estates. Just check it out. These old stone seats here have been like a balcony overlooking the far lands there. Look how degraded and decayed they are now, unfortunately. You can see the incredible patterns here, how it's chipped off and worn off over the years. Wow, I love to see stuff like this. Look at that. It's almost like these have been lions. That's been the lion's feet coming up. And it's like this is the lion's head here in the main. But unfortunately, it's just so far gone. Look at the way it's built with the stones. See, when you see stuff like this, it gives you an idea of like how cool the house must have been. Wow, I'm glad I saw this without... Again, sometimes I could come to a place like this and miss little details. And that was why I wanted to just have a peek through here. Yeah, I can actually see, we'll have to go over here. Here's an interesting point. There's actually an old water pump. Check this out here, folks. Look, you can see, I don't know if it's been the stone carving or what there, but the marks are still on it. Just think of the laird and the lady maybe sitting here at a certain time. And the level of detail has just been incredible. And it's so unfortunate when things like this get destroyed. It looks like there maybe has been more to it. See, there could have been a complete seat here. That's correct, folks. I've just realised this has been a full chair. And you can see how there's less detail on the rear, which is, it shows you it was designed to be viewed from the front here, from the side where the big house is. This is mad, folks. This is like visiting the secret garden or something like that. Yeah, I thought this was one of those old cast iron water pumps, but now I'm seeing it. It's actually cast iron fence posts. And this must have been one of the ways that they accessed the gardens. Check how big that tree is growing there, and it shows how long this has been abandoned and derelict and neglected. Yeah, there's just so much all over here. It's just crazy. Look at these massive old cast iron posts, solid. And then check this out here, one of the old buckets, enamel bucket, which was commonplace back in the day. Quite often at abandoned houses I find stuff like that lying about. Look at this, folks. This is what I was saying when I walked along the bottom. Look, there's a whole foundation here on the edge from something. There's been so much construction here back in the day. It's just incredible to see. This is my favourite thing to do often, go around and try and figure out what was there. Just imagine it in its prime. And I believe there is actually an ice house around here somewhere to be found. I don't know if I'll be able to find it in this episode or whatever, but I'm already blown away by how many things we've seen. See, this is of later construction in the mansion. It's almost like the colour you would paint the side of a swimming pool. But it's made with this red stone, red brick. It's maybe been like a bit of a veranda. All the way along here I can see remains of massive stones. So I'm not sure if the construction was actually bulldozed down here or bits of a building has been bulldozed. Anyway folks, let's head on. It's just a dark mass down there. It's hard to even pinpoint any history. Yeah, the size of these trees growing out of the stair set as well. Just incredible. Look at the heads on these daffodils as well, folks. That's an incredible daffodil right there. It's not just a plain, boring breed of daffodil. That's interesting. It's got so many petals. So cool. Often estates like this would also have rare shrubs, plants and trees, because often estate owners would try and like one up each other, or they would get stuff from all over the world, seeds, rare plants, whereas the common man would have no access to that stuff. And that's the reason that a lot of invasive species got into this country, like giant hogweed and things like that. It was all brought over from the rich folk of the lands back at the times like when this place was in its prime. This is interesting. See, this is the wall that I noticed initially here. And it is strange, there must have been some sort of path. But just think, when like people used to sit on that seat in the forest, these trees must have just been tiny back in those days. And I don't think the estate owners would have ever realised like how destroyed it would all look at a certain time. Sometimes with these adventures it's like exploring a post-apocalyptic scene of Great Britain. You can just imagine once all humans disappear, that's how a lot of stair sets and stuff may look. And places that we know so well now will just become derelict and nature will just take back over. And it's often like travelling back in time when you imagine the people there kind of going around the estates. Yeah, see, I think there's a private house up that way or whatever, so I'm not really wanting to go trespassing around in folks' land. But look at this, there's another cool building here for this adventure. Wow, look at that. There's actually an original part of the old iron railing still here. So let's head up and have a look. Yeah, this is smart. The way this is carved around. See, I believe I was actually told what these buildings were, because years ago I got a tour of this place and I got told about all the history, but it was so long ago, folks. I remembered the stuff was here, but I didn't know about any of those little details, and the stuff we're finding today, it's just spontaneous, kind of walking straight to things and finding them. Look at this. When you see a small bit of stonework like this, you get an idea of the architecture used to build the mansion house back there. And for sure, it looks like it's been sandstone construction like a lot of the other Scottish estates that we explore. And look, this is had a big window. Oh, originally look, there's been a door, and then at a later time they've crudely filled it up, blocked it up. But look, you can still see the old hinge from the lower door. Oh look, so this must have been the coal shed here. That's what this has been, maybe for coal and sticks. And big mansions had a lot of like fireplaces to keep the place warm. Look at that, interesting, the way everything's cut out on the stone. Yeah, so this was likely coal and sticks. Just think about the butlers or whatever coming in here. The reason it's got this will be so they can just come along with a cart, a horse and cart, and pour the coal down the hole, and it would just land in here in a big heap. Look, there's an old bike seat there, folks, check that out, with the big springs. That's one of those old leather ones from a vintage bike. Wow, that's from when everything was properly built. Yeah, look at the size of these massive stones on the roof of here. You still see the marks where they were chipped out and carved out. Yeah, that's so interesting. And then look at these stairs going up, eh? Just think of all the estate workers that may have walked around these places, doing their work, keeping places like this going, earning a living for their families. And then check this railing. It doesn't actually look as old. Maybe these have been some later repairs. Yeah, the railing's actually not even connected. It's maybe been hit by a tree. In fact, I would say these stairs don't even look as old. Yeah, so this could have been totally changed and landscaped as the years went on. And that's what I say about uncovering little details of the history and painting a picture of the history with what we see. I can see a little wall section here. We'll have a look before I head in the opposite direction. Check this out, folks. See, an area like this with stone construction like this may have been part of like a water feature or whatever, which could have potentially, again, been here at a certain time, but it's been so filled in and backfilled, covered up, it's hard to really tell what something like that's been. That could have even just been a little shed or something for a gardener. I'm going to take a little look round this corner, but I'm not sure if there is an ice house, like what direction it is I should be going. Look at that, folks. There's that top angle of the coal filling hole. Exploring a place like this is just truly like exploring the secret garden. You just never know what's round the corner, and it's just all covered by the beautiful plants and trees and moss. It's just crazy how that changes everything over the years. And the way this is built here, this wall which I'm walking up the side of, it's almost like a whole ridge. It was maybe to block the view of approaching carts from like the house, so people approaching it wouldn't see the house until they were right at it. Right, folks, here we go. Next to this massive, incredible ancient beech tree here, we've just found an amazing piece of history. And there's so much more to see in this area. I'll probably keep some of it for the next video, but we're going to take a look at this in today's video, folks, so let's get into it. I believe this is the old entrance to the ice house, and an ice house was actually where the mansions back in the day would bring ice in and store it in these places, so all year round they would have ice to preserve food and whatever else they use ice for. Whereas common man didn't have any of that. We would use salt and stuff to keep our meat cured. Check this out. Wow. I'm going to crawl in here, I think. This is what it's all about, folks, the adventure. This is my handy torch. You just shake it to get the torch to come on, which is really handy on these adventures. Wow, look at this old stone construction here, folks. I just hope there's no rats and stuff. See the trouble with these? These can be super deep. Wow. This is a big building. It's been backfilled with like loads of debris. Wow, here we go, folks. Check this out. Wow. There's loads of old scrap in here. Check it out, the roof. It's still got the old metal covers where they would have loaded the ice. Oh wow, this goes away around 90 degrees. I do apologise for the lighting at this point, folks, but I'm heading in. Wow, I don't even know how far under the ground this goes. There's so much scrap and debris here. Wow, folks, I love bringing you new places on the adventures, like, and this is just a great example of the sort of thing I love to find. Wow, look at it, it's just piled in here with scrap. Wow, I mean to get further in here. Yes. Right, I've made it. There's just tons and tons of old estate debris and stuff, but look above my head. Here's another one of the areas that they would have filled it. So it shows it's been a big ice house, this. And it's cool to tie this history in with what we've seen in this adventure. And you get an idea of the big house, what it's had under here. Look at the old square nails there sticking out of the wall. Wow, places like this, folks. I've just crawled in on top of all this stuff to bring you the footage, and a lot of stuff's just thrown in here and forgotten about, and eventually the entrance to a place like this could just get covered up, and before you know it, the history's gone, forgotten. But at least you've seen it here on the channel, folks. Real history of Scotland documented. Well, I say that a lot, but sometimes when you're just in the heart of this, you're paying attention to where you're putting your feet rather than the best narration. But yeah, this is just mad. It looks like it's been freshly pointed at a later time. And it's a really tidy job that they've done. Wow, folks, this is what I love, old history. Just think, that's probably at the height of a man there, and there's probably a few steps that you come down in. And the reason they're low down is so that they're cool. They're kept cool. Sometimes as well, that might have not been for loading it as much, but the hot air, because of the shape of the roof, the hot air always goes to the highest point, which means that it goes out there and the cool air's left inside. So that's another theory, which it could be. It could be either of those. Look, there's the last remains of the door frame. Wow, folks, this has just been crazy again. I'm always just blown away by the things I keep finding and keep exploring here. Wow, what an adventure. What an adventure it's been indeed. When I saw that, I didn't even realise it was going to be so big, and I didn't realise it was going to go so far in. Wow, just look at it from here. You could almost think that's an old entrance into just some secret underground world, which it pretty much is. It tells the story of an old Scottish estate and the story of how they used to store their ice. Again, before the days of fridges and freezers. Again, probably if you imagine how much stuff's piled up around here, just shows how like things can just get covered up. So interesting, folks. And it's mad often just climbing through the middle of all those like spider webs and stuff. Different creatures that's living in there. There's always a risk there could be rats or mice or foxes even in there eating their tea. Mad, folks, mad. I've just been blown away by what we found, but there is more to see. But I'm going to save that for the next adventure, folks, so tune in again soon for that one. I'm ending this one here. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll be back very soon with more crazy locations like this, hidden in the wild landscapes of Scotland.